All right, so today we are going to start taking notes for the Bird Woman and the Robin passages. So I'm looking right now at your thesis, and you did a nice job with this. So the main thing that we want to include is if you look at the question, it's saying that we want to know how Bird Woman and the Robin helped others. Okay. And what was that important task? So your focus needs to be on both of them and how they helped. So if we look at your it says both Bird Woman, which is good, except for in this story, Bird Woman is capitalized because it's the name of the character. So you need to capitalize Bird Woman, Bird and Woman. So both Bird Woman and the Robin helped others. So that's good because you need to include helped others by performing important tasks by sharing fire. Now, the only thing here is you're saying by performing important tasks by sharing fire. It seems a little redundant. I don't think you need to include this section right here because the sharing fire is the important task. So I don't think you even need that as part of yours. So some of the others were like both Bird Woman and the Robin helped others by, you said sharing fire, maybe sharing fire with their people or giving fire to the people, something like that. Okay. But you have a good one here. Just the Robin is not capitalized because that is not the name of the character. So this is fine how you have it, but Bird Woman is and also make sure you're spelling fire correctly. Okay. So now you have your thesis. Um, I want you to take a piece of notebook paper. If you don't have one, pause this video and then come back. Okay, so hopefully you paused it or you have the notebook piece of paper. Um, so I want you to write your notes on this. And what we're going to do is, and we did this in class, we came up with both of the subtopics together. And then we took notes for the first subtopic. And then the rest of them, they took notes for the second subtopic on their own. They just started that. They're going to finish it tomorrow. So, and then we're going to start the essay tomorrow. We're going to start talking about the hook. And so I will put a video about that tomorrow. All right. So today I'm going to just go to a blank paper. And I'm going to, so at the top, just type your thesis. So right up here, just write your thesis. And you can put whatever you had for yours, like make the corrections that I said, but then just write your thesis um, on your notebook piece of paper. Okay. So you're just going to follow along with me and take notes as I show you what to do. All right. So your thesis is at the top. Then we're going to do subtopic 1. Okay. You can either do subtopic 1 on the front of your notebook piece of paper and then on the back of your notebook piece of paper, write subtopic 2, or you can put subtopic 1 at the top and then leave space and then in the middle put subtopic 2. Okay. The reason you want space is because you need room for your details. Okay. So make sure you are leaving space for your details. All right. So our thesis. Both Bird Woman and the Robin helped others by giving their people fire or something, or giving fire to the land, or however you want to say it. What are our two subtopics? So, our in the body of our um, essay, let's see if I go back to this. Okay, so we already have this. We're working on this right now. Our first subtopic is going to be the first paragraph of the body, and then the second subtopic is the second paragraph of the body. How can we split up this thesis, both Bird Woman and the Robin, helped others by giving fire to their people? Well, split it up by saying the first one is bird woman, second one is robin, right? Now, when we list it, we can't just list bird woman and robin. So we have to show, we have to explain how they did it. And I don't want all the details. It just has to be a summary. So at the beginning of both of these stories, only one person had fire, right? In the beginning of the first one, the crocodile was the only one that had fire. On the second one, there was only one fire, and the hunter and his son took care of that fire. By the end of the story, everyone had fire, right? The bird woman gave fire to everyone by putting it in the trees, and then the robin gave fire to everyone by putting, each one in the huts, right? Gave Put fire in each of the huts. So when we come up with our subtopics, we want to summarize, we want to condense, say it like just real briefly. How did bird woman give her people fire? Okay, real short and to the point, where it can be just a phrase. So, well, what bird woman did was she put fire in the trees. Now, I am only writing, excuse me, I'm only writing phrases here because these are notes. When you go to write your essay, you will turn this into a complete sentence. So, the topic sentence of your um, first paragraph of your body would be the bird woman helped give her people fire by putting, or helped others. I'm sorry. The bird woman helped others by putting fire in the trees. Okay. So that would be your topic sentence. Then you would go and finish it. Okay. So for the robin, how did she give fire to the people? Well, I like to do, so some of the people in class said, well, everywhere she touched down, a fire would start. That's fine. You can do that. I know from past experience that that is difficult to put into a sentence where you're listing them at the end of the introduction. So I also like to do my patterns. So if I have put fire in trees, well, where did the robin put the fire? Well, she um, put a fire in every hut, right? In the Northland, or you can just say in every hut, like whatever. Okay. So then your topic sentence for this paragraph would be the robin helped others by putting a fire in every hut in the Northland. Okay. So we have our two subtopics. So when you are doing your introduction, you're going to start with your hook, which we haven't started talking about that. That will be in the um, for tomorrow. Yeah, the video for tomorrow. That'll be in there. Then you write your thesis. You already have that written. And then you list your subtopics. So when you list your subtopics, you can just say that they did this, both characters did this by um, putting fire in the trees and by putting a fire in every hut in the Northland. Okay. So you just list them. And that's your introduction. So we have taken notes for the introduction. Okay. Now, if we go back, I keep going back to the wrong one, sorry. We are doing the body. So we have our subtopic, and I already talked about the topic sentence. Now we're on to the details. Well, how do you prove? What details do you need to include? How do you prove that the robin put a fire? Oh, sorry, that's subtopic too. That bird woman put fire in the trees. How do you prove that? Well, when it is a fictional piece like it is, it's a story. The only way to prove that is to show your readers what she did. So you need to retell the story. So we're going to take notes by um, retelling the story, but we're going to do it with just phrases Okay. No sentences. So then when you go to write your essay, you're only going to use your notes and it's going to force you to retell this story in your own words. Okay. Because you'll see as we start writing these notes, you cannot just copy these down for your essay because it will not make any sense at all. Okay. So, what do I need to start with? If I'm going to retell this story, I need to start at the beginning. You need to go in order. Okay. So, let's start with, well, why did bird woman have to put the fire in the trees? Well, because there was only one fire, right? And no, and the crocodile man wouldn't share it. So we need to start by introducing those characters. So let's start with introducing the crocodile man because he's a big part. If it wasn't for the crocodile man, we would she wouldn't have to put the fire in the trees because they would share it. Okay. Um, so we're going to start with crocodile man. And what did crocodile man have? He had fire sticks, right? Now it's gonna put, a blue line under there because, the computer thinks it should be 2 separate words. In the, story, it uses fire sticks as 1 word, so just go with it and ignore the computer. So, Crocodile Man, he had the fire sticks, right? And then we have Bird Woman. Well, maybe I'll just do another one. Then there's Bird Woman, and what did Bird Woman have to do? Well, we have to show that the crocodile wouldn't share them, right? Well, in order to show that, we have to say what the Bird Woman did. Well, the Bird Woman asked for fire sticks, right? Asked for fire sticks, rock. Now I'm using abbreviations because if you need to write out crocodile, then you write out crocodile. But these are notes, so I'm just using abbreviations. When you write your essay, you need to write crocodile man. Croc wouldn't share. Okay. Now, I think it's also important to include why the people needed it, right? So we need to let them know that everyone um, everyone was cold, right? Everyone cold and ate raw food, right? So these are your bullet points of what you should include when you retell it. But when you go to retell it, you put it in your own words and you do it like a story. So you're going to say there was once a crocodile man who had the only fire sticks in the land. Bird woman. Oh, and you could say, and everyone else had to eat raw food, and they were always cold. Okay. One day, Bird Woman came and asked the crocodile to share the fire stick so everyone else um, could have fire or whatever. Uh, but the croc refused, or the crocodile. You wouldn't say the croc. You would say, the crocodile or crocodile man refused. Okay, so I take these three and I turn them into a story, a retelling of the story. Do not look at your story to retell it because you're going to just use their words and then it'll be plagiarism. It's really hard to look at the story and then try to change up the words. Okay. It's easier to take really brief notes like this and then go and just use these notes to retell it because then it forces you to use your own words. All right. So now what happened? Well, the crocodile fell asleep, right? So I'm going to put croc fell asleep. Now, in the essay, if you look at your essay and you look at paragraph 7, it says something really cool when he fell asleep. Um, it says that the crocodile man opened his mouth and yawned the longest, sleepiest, biggest yawn anyone had ever seen. To me, that really stood out. So I might want to use that as a quote when I'm retelling this story. I'm not sure. It'll depend when I start writing the essay. But because I might use it, I want you to do this. And if you don't use it, then that's fine. But I want you to put in parentheses quote because that will tell you that, hey, I'm going to use this as a quote. And then I want you to put paragraph 7. Okay. Then I want you to go to the story and I want you to highlight, which you don't have to because I did, because you don't have the physical copy of it. So I did it for you. And then highlight yawned the longest, sleepiest, biggest yawn anyone had ever seen. So when you're doing this for like your state test or whatever, don't waste the time, okay, of copying this entire sentence into your notes. Just put in your notes, hey, I want to use this as a quote, and then highlight it on your story so you know to go back to it. Okay. So going back to my notes. So then when I'm retelling the story, I might say one day, the as Bird Woman was watching, Crocodile Man, um, and then I'm not going to say fall asleep. I'm going to say Crocodile Man, and then go back to here and say yawn the longest, sleepiest, big, and I'll say according to Rainbow Bird, or in the story it said. However, it makes it flow smoothly. In this story, it said, um, Crocodile Man yawned the longest, sleepiest, biggest yawn anyone had ever seen. And then my next sentence would be, and then fell asleep. Or in the same sentence, I could say, and then fell asleep. But I would only quote this part. Okay. All right. So Crocodile fell asleep. Then what happened? Well, BW, which is my abbreviation for Bird Woman. If you need to write Bird Woman, go ahead. She took fire sticks, right? She went and stole the fire sticks. You could say took fire sticks, stole whatever. Let's write it right. Okay. And then put the fire into all trees. Okay. Notice I'm not writing sentences. Put fire into all trees. Okay. It's just so that you know, um, when you're retelling the story, you're going to make sure that you include all of these bullet points. Okay. So after you retell the story, you're going to say, okay, did I start with that the crocodile had the fire sticks? Okay. And then the bird woman asked for the fire sticks, but he wouldn't share. And then did I mention somewhere that, everyone was cold and had to eat raw food? Okay. So you're going to just make sure you mentioned all of these areas. All right. So the final thing is, so it starts off that, in the beginning, there's only one fire, right? Well, what happens at the end? What happens after she puts the fire into all the trees? Well, now everyone has fire, right? So, and this also can be the closing sentence. So I'm even going to label it closing sentence. Okay. So, and of course, I'm not just going to say everyone has fire. I'm going to put it into my own words. I'm going to say something like, after I retell the story and she put the fire into the trees, then I might say, now everyone in the land has access to fire. Everyone in the land has fire to um, cook their food and to keep themselves warm. Okay, so I add my other stuff in there on the closing sentence to make it flow better, to make it more so it's not so choppy. Okay, so that is what we did today. Then what you're going to do is you are going to do subtopic 2. You're going to do the same thing that I did. You're going to start off with, how are you, um, what's the first thing you need to say? Well, look at what we did here. We started off with saying who had the fire to begin with. Well, in this case, it was there. You can start off with the hunter and his son took care of the only fire. Okay. Then make sure you're introducing the characters. So you need to introduce that white bear. Okay. So the white bear wanted to put out the fire, right? So he could have the Northland because he wanted to have control of the Northland. Then talk about how the hunter got sick. The son had to take care of the hunter and the fire. Son fell asleep. Bear came and put out the fire. Robin came, found a coal, fanned the flame, started the fire, burnt her breast, and then wherever she touched the ground, a fire would start. Okay. So you're going to put those in your bullet points for subtopic 2. Okay. On your notebook piece of paper that you've already started. Now, the notes you are not turning in. This is for you. So, however you want to organize your notes, whichever works best for you is fine. Okay. If you want to um, complete your notes and then show them to me and see if you didn't miss anything or see if you're on the right track, I'd be more than willing to look at them. Um, I mean, if you would rather do them on just not a notebook piece of paper and just do it on the computer, that's fine too. If you did it on notebook piece of paper, because that's what I told you to do, your mom can just take a picture of it and send it through Dojo if you want. Um, however you want to do that. So that is it for today. All you have to do is finish taking your notes for now. Make sure you don't write any sentences. Okay, no sentences when you're taking notes. Your last thing, your closing sentence is going to be the same thing, isn't it? Because at the end, everyone has fire. Um, and then tomorrow we'll talk about some ideas for um, what you can do for your hook. Yeah, I'm losing my vocabulary here. What you can do for your hook. And then you're going to start writing your essay. So I'll have a video. It's going to be a shorter one than this, explaining giving you some ideas for your um, introduction, your hook. And then there'll be an assignment on Google Classroom where you have to create your document and it'll be informative writing. It'll have all that. And I'll explain that on the video too. And then you'll just start writing it. Alrighty. If you have any questions, please ask.